My name's DeAndre Hill. I'm an arcade technician for Sergeant Strikes. Been doing it for about 3 years. Although I've been with the company for over 5 years. I like electronics, obviously.
What made you want to become a game tech?
I like electronics, obviously. You get to make your own schedule. The pay's better. I don't have to deal with the punk-ass customers. And I've always liked dealing with, computers, and I like using my hands, getting dirty, using tools, messing with electricity and wiring and all that good stuff. And the arcade industry is just overall interesting to me. But that's all I've ever worked. I've been working in the arcade since I was 16. It was kind of like all I know in a sense. I'm 46 now, so.
Explain your daily routine at work.
I come into work, I go up to the little computer POS system that we have and check to see if any of the attendants turned off any of the game swipers, because that tells me a game is broken. For some reason, I check the reason and then I go fix that game. That takes priority. If there's any games off, that's what I do that day, no matter what. If all the games are on, then I just kind of walk around, check for little small things, maybe lights out in a game or tweaks and adjustments that they may need, or I'll check, a lot of times, like games with balls, customers will take the balls out and throw them to places where they're not supposed to be. So I'll kind of check for that and make sure all the games have an even level of balls and things. I don't clean games. I don't do any of that. That's the attendant's job. But overall maintenance, the laser tag, the bumper cars, laser maze, and the arcade games, day-to-day maintenance, weekly maintenance, monthly maintenance, things such as aligning lasers in laser maze or putting air in bumper car tubes, greasing up some of the parts in bumper cars, just things that aren't broken but need to be done on a regular basis. That's kind of what I do.
Were you familiar with this kind of work before being hired on?
Not really. I knew the arcade industry decently well, and I knew enough about beginner's level technician work and just simply, how to use a multimeter, how to use tools. I knew enough to get my foot in the door and be trained to do the job. I had to start working in Cumming, which is about an hour away, and work with a senior technician for a year to just sort of get used to things and sort of be under supervision while I learn. But that was a long time ago, and now I can sort of hold things down myself.
How did you learn everything?
Well, like I said, I worked under one of the senior techs for a while, and he taught me a lot, but most of it is actually self-teaching, because a game can break at any time, any way, and it could be a whole new reason that no one's ever seen before, and you just sort of have to use outside knowledge to figure out the problem. That's one of the more enjoyable parts of this job, is it's something new every day. You don't always just know what to do, and it can be really frustrating sometimes, but you just have to figure it out. The company also pays for me to do an online program for electronics technicians to get certified, and I learned a hell of a lot doing that. So yeah.
How much do arcade games cost?
Could be a pretty wide range. If you just buy a brand new game from a distributor, a good game that makes good money, you're looking at least 10 grand usually. 10 grand, 15 grand for, maybe like your average like skee ball game or something. Big games make a ton of money. Like we've got a giant crane, gives out like a lot of tickets. It's very expensive. That game's probably around $35,000, $40,000. But then you have like your cheap games that don't make a lot of money, but you get them for cheap, that you don't even buy them brand new. They do like monthly arcade auctions where guys like me that have arcade games and stuff, they'll take them to these auctions and they'll sell them. And we've got one game, this little Sonic the Hedgehog game, we literally bought it for $200, and it probably makes about $10 a week. So it can range.